everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Monica. I like to post anti-MLM, life, and some true crime content here on this channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around. In today's video, I am bringing you anti-MLM content, so of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. In case you could not tell, yes, I now have a YouTube studio, kind of, still working out some kinks and everything, so if you hear an echo or anything like that, we're not finished with it yet. I just wanted to record in the space, I guess you can say, that we have so far. And in today's video, we are going to be going over inventory loading. And I thought that it was important to talk about this topic in its own video because a lot of us have mentioned this in anyone's video really, and in my previous videos I've talked about this as well, but I thought it was important to really talk about this subject to help warn MLM reps of the dangers of inventory loading and those who may not even know about what inventory loading is. Not only can the rep get into a lot of trouble, but it's financially dangerous. I can speak from experience on this as well because when I was in Mary Kay, my upline talked me into purchasing a lot of inventory, over $1,000 worth of it. So that is quite a lot. So, and she did that so that I would immediately be already put into a higher rank, and that was the whole point of getting all of that inventory, to start at a higher rank as opposed to just starting at the lowest rank, if you want to say that. Then when I was in Beachbody, my upline was telling me to buy some extra Shakeology to have on hand in order to give out as samples or in order to give out as giveaways and stuff like that in these challenge groups. I don't know if that still goes on with some of these Beachbody coaches or if my former Mary Kay upline is still encouraging people to buy very large amounts of inventory. But yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't still happen, but in this video, I'm going to talk about why this is so dangerous. If you watched my last anti-MLM and true crime hybrid video, I talked a little bit about in that video how Jamboree did this, and because of that, there was a lot of outrage and a lot of reps left that MLM company. Of course, it's no longer functioning, or it's no longer around today. That's a better way of saying it. It's no longer around today, but I just wanted to mention that in this portion of the video. But anyway, without further ado, what is inventory loading? According to the FTC, they say that inventory loading is a term that may be used to describe a participant's wholesale product purchases that are made in an attempt to advance in the marketing program, rather than made to satisfy actual consumer demand in the marketplace for those products. Just as MLMs involve a variety of structures and products, payments that participants make to advance in the marketing program rather than to purchase products to satisfy actual consumer demand can take many forms, such as expenditures to purchase inventory. As in any business opportunity, it can be a beneficial practice if an MLM allows participants to return unsold product to the MLM, because the ability to return product can decrease the risk of losing money for participants who take advantage of that policy. Allowing participants to return product, however, does not in and of itself shield an unfair or deceptive compensation structure from law enforcement. As a general matter, money-back guarantees and refunds are not defenses for violations of the FTC Act. Even where such policies are offered, dissatisfied participants may not seek a refund for a number of reasons, including because they are unaware of their right to a refund, the refund process is too complicated or obscure, or they may blame themselves for not being able to sell the product. Even the Direct Selling Association, or otherwise known as the DSA, says that a DSA member company shall not require or encourage an independent salesperson to purchase inventory in an amount which unreasonably exceeds that which can be expected to be resold and or consumed within a reasonable period of time. That doesn't mean that this doesn't still happen.
For VIP customers, cards, and here's where I have all my products. So we don't need to buy products and money at all, but I love to give products away. I love to send products, give them as gifts, and I have a pretty damn good discount as a market partner. So up here is like all skincare, some CBD, Here is travel size products and Rejuvenique oil. I stock up on Rejuvenique like a psycho because I cannot live without it. Here is styling products. Some of these products too, I won for free. And so the thing that you need to know is these products last so long. A lot of this stuff I won for free. So yeah, shampoo, conditioner is all in here. Okay, so anyways, I wanted to show you this. So
If you're new to anti-MLM content as well, and if you haven't stumbled upon the Vice documentary that features LuLaRoe and a lot of ex-LuLaRoe consultants, I will leave a link below, but there was a post that Roberta Blevins had on her Instagram, and it was talking about being garage qualified for some of these products. And there were a ton of pictures in her post that talked about just all of the inventory that some of these reps have. And this is what I mean by this is very dangerous. It can be very dangerous financially because can you imagine how much money is in all of that inventory that you see in these pictures? There's another interview clip that I wanted to play, and that was an interview with ABC's 2020.
And I saw with my own two eyes the warehousing of the product, meaning they had basements full of it, or closets full of it, or garages full of it.
That shocks me to hear that.
How do you know the product isn't ending up in people's basements?
Oh, trust me, Rebecca, we know that women love to buy Mary Kay products over and over again.
The company says tens of millions of dollars of consultant orders are shipped directly to consumers every year. Even so, take a look at this. Inventory from a consultant who is leaving the company. She agreed to show us boxes of products she said she bought to keep her status.
PinkTruth.com is another anti-multi-level marketing website that focuses specifically on Mary Kay and exposing some of the really shady business ethics, I guess you can say, just the business model of Mary Kay. And I found this clip they inserted it into their post, and they had something to say about this interview as well. And they said, when asked by 2020 how Mary Kay knows that the product isn't ending up in people's basements, Laura Beatler replied, "Oh, trust me, Rebecca, we know that women love to buy Mary Kay products over and over again." See what she did there? She didn't answer the question. She was asked about products being stockpiled in basements, and the best answer she could come up with is that women buy Mary Kay products. Sure, women buy the products, but in what amounts? How does Mary Kay know that all of those star orders are ending up in the hands of actual consumers? The fact is that most of the product does not end up with the customer. Mary Kay knows this, so they chose to track only orders placed by consultants rather than tracking actual retail sales. Ignorance is bliss. The company gets to pretend that most of the products sold to consultants are retailed to actual customers. So as I've already said, this can really put a damper on MLM reps' finances, along with getting into some trouble if the FTC finds out about it, because this is prohibited, along with the DSA prohibits this as well. And the sad part is that this can also lead into other things. So while this next portion isn't really inventory loading, I have seen some ex-reps that have spoken out, or even just I've heard about certain things that ex-reps have done, and that is by paying for their friends and family members starter kits so that they can rank advance. So like I said, this isn't really inventory loading, but it does, once you start, at least with Mary Kay, the way that it was, is as soon as I bought all that product, like I've already said, it immediately bumped me up to a higher rank. So these other reps that are purchasing their starter kits for their friends and family, they're doing the same thing. They're rank advancing, but they're paying for that rank advance. So while that's not inventory loading, I wanted to mention that in this video because since we are on the topic of just some poor financial decisions that are made within these MLM companies, I did just want to say that in this part of the video. But how did inventory loading catch the attention of the right people to be prohibited to begin with? Well, it started with Amway. You may or may not have heard of the 70-30 or 70% rule. And this is when the seller must sell 70% of existing inventory before they can order more. This came out when the FTC filed 5 accusations against Amway in 1975. Those 5 accusations were: Amway was engaged in resale price maintenance. Amway allocated customers among distributors and restricted the distributor's source of supply as well as the retail outlets through which they may resell. Amway restricted the distributor's advertising. It also misrepresented that substantial income that may be obtained from geometrical increases in number of distributors in the chain. Amway misrepresented the profitability of a distributorship and the potential for recruiting new distributors, and failed to disclose the substantial business expense involved and the high turnover of distributors. In 1979, the FTC ruled that Amway was a legitimate business and not a pyramid scheme. Even though they weren't deemed a pyramid scheme, they did need to change certain things. That included that Amway needed to stop retail price fixing, misrepresenting profits, allocating customers among their distributors, and they had to print a disclaimer on their suggested retail price lists. Then that 70% rule that I spoke about was born. As I said earlier, this still doesn't stop MLM companies or reps from encouraging this kind of behavior, this inventory loading. That is clearly seen with other lawsuits, such as the August 1999 case of the FTC versus Equinox, where the FTC accused the company of making their recruits engage in inventory loading by purchasing $5,000 worth of inventory in order to buy in at the managerial level. Or if we take a look at yet another case from an article written by a pro-MLM attorney, he says that in Webster versus Omnitrition case, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals defined inventory loading as occurring when distributors make the minimum required purchases to receive recruitment-based bonuses without reselling the products to consumers, which means that if these reps are purchasing the minimum amount necessary to keep their rank to get bonuses, that's also prohibited. Speaking of Omnitrition, it was co-founded by a man named Charles Regis, who then turned around and founded Advocare in 1993. 26 years after Advocare was founded in 2019, they too got into a lot of trouble.
North Texas company with some big name endorsers is in big trouble with the Federal Trade Commission. I-Team reporter Ginger Allen tells us why Advocare is accused of operating illegally.
On the front page of its website, Dallas Cowboys' Jason Witten says Advocare is perfect for athletes. New Orleans Saints' Drew Brees is also among the many athletes endorsing the Plano-based nutritional supplement company.
We are announcing a complaint against Advocare International.
But at a national news conference in Dallas today, the Federal Trade Commission announced that Advocare's distributors are not endorsing the company's business practices.
To earn the most lucrative rewards, distributors had to make large product purchases and recruit others to do the same.
The FTC says Advocare was operating an illegal pyramid scheme focused on recruiting people to buy and sell products rather than focused on retail sales. The distributors complained that they were told they could earn unlimited income, attain financial freedom, and quit their regular jobs. FTC Director Andrew Smith says hundreds of thousands of Texas distributors earned no money or lost money.
The business model itself, the recruiting recruiters who recruit recruiters, is one that is particularly susceptible to consumer loss.
Advocare and its former CEO agreed to pay $150 million and be banned from the MLM business to resolve the FTC charges that the company operated an illegal pyramid scheme that deceived consumers into believing they could earn significant income as distributors of its health and wellness products. 2 of the top promoters also settled charges that they promoted the illegal pyramid scheme and misled consumers about their income potential, agreeing to an MLM ban and judgment of $4 million that will be suspended when they surrender substantial assets. One of the things the prosecution spoke about was the inventory loading aspect of Advocare. This is why whenever I'm given the whole pyramid schemes are illegal narrative, I think of situations like this. Just because something is illegal or prohibited doesn't mean that it's not going to happen or that it doesn't happen. In addition, even when something is legal, doesn't necessarily mean that it's ethical. Now that you have an idea of what inventory loading is and why it's prohibited, there was an article I came across in my research that gave some perfect examples of what else to look for. There were a few bullet points, and of course there is the infamous portion about how the business opportunity shouldn't be the product. However, we see a larger emphasis on the business opportunity as opposed to the products a lot. Products sold at inflated prices, again, we see this all the time, but in the article it says sometimes pyramid promoters will try to mask their true intent by selling a product. Often, the product will be vastly overpriced and thus unlikely to generate much retail activity, thereby indicating that the real item being sold is a compensation plan. Of course, inventory loading is on the list, but also programs that require substantial initial cash investments. According to an MLM attorney, Jeff Babner, many states consider a required upfront investment of $500 or more to be substantial and thus likely to attract the attention of law enforcement. Programs that require mandatory purchase of peripheral or accessory products or services. Some pyramids seek to hide their true face by allowing a minimum price for a startup kit and then compelling the investor to buy more expensive items such as training or demonstration materials. Jeff Babner believes that business startup kits and selling aids should be sold at company cost.
Before you invest in a new opportunity, the FTC is asking you to ask, does the compensation depend on recruitment of others? Are you required to purchase products to be eligible? And are the lifestyle earnings reasonable?
I'll never recommend any MLM because I do think it's a horrible business model, and because of all of the points that I just spoke about in this entire video, we see a lot of this a lot of the time. I don't think I've ever seen an MLM be the opposite of what I spoke about today, but maybe I just haven't come across it yet. I don't know. There are MLMs that are less than $500 to start, but then we have some uplines encouraging their recruits to invest more into their business. Not all, but some. So you guys let me know what you think about this video. What did you think about the topic? And like I said, I will be working on this area, this studio. It's still a work in progress, so please bear with me in the growing pains of trying to figure all this out. We literally just finished this today. My husband built this entire wall and he set this entire thing up for me. That was my Christmas gift for this year. So thanks to my husband. He doesn't watch my videos, but if he ever does, thank you. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. I'm not changing my intro just because I'm not by the highway. It was thanks to a lot of comments that I got. Sorry, this is just a little tidbit of information. Thanks to a lot of comments that I got on one of my Instagram posts, I have decided I'm going to keep the same outro. I'm not changing it. So thank you so much for watching. This is Monica reporting to you live from a highway. Bye.